Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is October 12th, 2018. My name is Lynn Marquedant, and I'm your host. Welcome. Grab a project and let's sew together. We are doing Clue 6 of our Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt. So grab your project. If you're working on the mystery quilt, great. If you're not, grab something else, and let's see what we can get done. So, for our patrons who did receive the clue, you saw that. How many of you knew we were making an alphabet quilt? You saw that we're making the rest of our letters. Go back to clue 4 or clue 2 for instructions. I did include the paper pieced foundations as well as the machine applique patterns. So I have already done, I'm doing the machine applique. I've already put the machine applique pieces on these are going to be 10.5 by 10.5. And tonight I'm just going to zigzag. I want to finish all of those so that I have all 26 letters done. Because next week, after you do these 26 letters, you will have all of the pieces of the puzzle. And I bet you could figure out how it goes together. But by next Friday, we will have our big reveal, and I can't wait. So I've already threaded my machine with my pink. So I am using this pink color to zigzag my letters on. Nothing fancy. I'm not doing it heavy, as you know. And I'm also going to use this pink to do our quilting. So our last, not next week will be the reveal of the top, but the week after we'll be doing the long arm quilting of this mystery quilt. Okay, let's turn this on. Okay. So as always, send your pictures or notes about what you're working on to lynn@simplycolorful.com. I'd love to share them with everyone. In fact, check this out. Jean can't be with us today because she is with she's at one of her girls' parents' weekend at college. But look at what she sent in that she completed today. Isn't that pretty? It's a rag rug that it looks like she made with a jelly roll. I love the distribution of the colors, and it looks batik. It's beautiful. So thank you, Jean, for sharing that. That's wonderful. So I just edge this around. Misty, I'm curious if you've started your applique. I think maybe you were waiting. Now on the curve, you just go more slowly. There. Is anyone there? Let me just see. Hey, BJ is here. Hello, BJ. BJ out in, hey, she says she's joining up for FiberCasters tonight. See you then. Hi, BJ. BJ's working on a memory quilt, and she's out there. So say hi. Sorry, I got pulled into something else. Becca. Hi, Becca. She says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. Here's what I finished at retreat last weekend. She said, I assembled a queen quilt back, which will go with a cheerleading t-shirt quilt top that I finished 3 years ago. The back was mostly photos of the cheerleader, which were not easy to print, but I finally got it done. Yay. Oh, wow. She says, I also added borders to a stained glass quilt from a Turning 20 book pattern called Abby Memories. And she says, I also assembled a baby boy quilt and even quilted the plain blocks on my domestic sewing machine. I still have to quilt the pieced blocks and add the binding. It's a gift for a cousin born October 3rd, so I better get with it, LOL. Aww. She says, I can't wait to see how the space-themed quilt, Tessellations, looks after you have quilted it. You are welcome to show it to the Fibercasters. Well, let us first look at all you accomplished. Look at this. Look at those pictures of, can you see that? Of the cheerleader? Wow. Madeline. Aw. She's a beautiful girl. So Becca finished that. And then, oh my goodness, look at this stained glass quilt. That's going on my list. That's really nice. Oh, and the baby quilt. And look at you do such beautiful work. Look at the crosshatches there. Wow. Oh, with all the trucks and the car and the boat and the bike and the plane. I love it. Well, Becca, get ready. If you're okay with it, I'm going to show your Tessellations quilt. It's done, and the color and the pattern you picked are perfect. So hold that thought. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put it in the mail to you tomorrow, but since you're right there, so if anyone else is out there, when you have a quilt machine quilted, it comes to you in plastic. Yes, we are using plastic because BJ has taught me this, because you just never know with the conditions of the mail what it's going to encounter. Now that said, we try to reuse the plastic. So I have customers who are sending me back their new quilts in the plastic we use. So we are reusing it as much as possible. So this is Becca Clash's Tessellations quilt from I don't know if you can see that, but it's beautiful and square, and have to show you, it's an outer space pattern by Wasatch Quilting. And it replicates the orbits. See that right there? It replicates the orbits of your background fabric. I know this is really hard, but that's probably the best planet with the orbit around it. And then there are stars in it. Oh, how funny. Oh, there's a star. So, Becca, it's done. It'll go in the mail to you tomorrow. And it was a pleasure to work on. It's called the Tessellations pattern. And Becca is the one who made that lovely label. Which, can I find it right now? Where is it? We'll find it. We'll find it. It's a disappearing trick, Becca. I can't find it. Here it is. Oh boy. Lots of thread. Look at that. She embroidered the label right in the back. I love it. Anyway, it's done. Tessellations by Becca Clash. Okay. That there. Oh, and your leftover fabric. I'll send that back to you. Okay. I actually did that one today. While I was working, I came back from New York yesterday, and it was nice to have that to put right on the frame. So let's keep going here. I'm almost done with the G. I love that. I do a lot of quilts. I have been doing quite a few quilts, and I never know whether to show them. So feel free, if and when you do send me your quilt, I'd always love to show it on FiberCast, but it's your quilt, and I won't ever do it without your permission. Okay. In fact, you might be seeing the quilt behind me. This is another Joyce Morganelli quilt, and I absolutely love it. I think this one is going to withstand the test of time, and people will have this 100 years from now. I think it's just a classic star pattern that's beautifully executed, and I'm very happy with it. I'm happy to have it. Okay. So what I've been doing on my applique is I have been taking my needle and putting my threads to the back and then tying them in knots, just a little extra insurance. And I have been ironing them so they do get flatter. And that's that. So let's do J. Don't forget the one thing, these are very easy blocks to make. Just remember when you're tracing out your blocks, trace them out backwards so that when you adhere them, they're facing the right way. And yes, I almost did make that mistake. But fortunately, I think it was with the G actually. I drew it on the back of the heat and bond going the right way. And then I thought, uh-oh, if I cut that, it'll be the wrong way this other side. So I switched it around. You'll know what I mean when you get to that part. Or you could do the paper piecing like my sister's been doing, which is stunning. Oh, and Sue, if you're out there, I'm so curious to hear how Art Is went. Down in Stamford. I thought of you as the train went by through Connecticut. Oh, the train ride was so pretty. So pretty along the coast of Kingston, Rhode Island, and then down through Connecticut. Very pretty. And New York City is buzzing. I was in Midtown. Our event was at the Hilton in Midtown, and it was very well done. And so I was right there in Times Square in the theater district, which buzzes and is just so exciting. Funny story, I did not see a play because I'm trying to save money, number one. So I'm cheap, number one. And number two, I wasn't sure which one to go to. And I thought, well, I should be with someone if I'm going to go see a play. All sorts of excuses. Well, then I thought, no, that's silly. You're in New York City. How often do you get to New York City? Splurge. And so I went to the half-price ticket booth after work on Wednesday night. So it was 4:30. The event had finished. And I stood in line. The line wasn't bad. I talked to a couple that had come from Los Angeles. And they tell you when you get in that ticket line, for anyone who has not been there, in Times Square in New York City, there's a half-price ticket booth, big red sign there. And they have displayed on 2 kiosks what tickets are available to what shows. They're not all available, but when they're trying to fill the seats, they go on sale there. And they say to you, make sure you look at those 2 kiosks and know what tickets you want before you get up to the booth, right? Well, they tell you that, but then you have this long waiting line to go to, and you can't see the kiosk. So during that time, I'm listening to other people. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to see. I'm trying to think about where the theater is, and do I know where the theater is, and which ones. I did do my homework. I had read about the plays that were there, and the long time Phantom of the Opera in Chicago and The Wiz, and then some of the newer ones, or the Book of Mormon had been there for a long time. A lot of the sort of the plays I didn't recognize, and I couldn't tell you the names, but they looked kind of interesting. Anyway, I made the story too long already. By the time I got up to the ticket booth, I had decided I wanted to go to Chicago because I wanted just some nice music. I'd seen Mamma Mia, and I kind of wanted to go to see Kinky Boots, but it was too far of a walk. And so at the end of the day, I get up there and I say, do you have tickets to Chicago? No. And the ticket taker, or the ticket giver, is immediately not very happy with me. So then I say, well, do you have tickets to The Wiz? And he goes like this, no. Did you look at the kiosk? So he made me go look at the kiosk, and I asked him, what else? I asked him one other thing. At the end of the day, I didn't even buy any tickets. There I was in Times Square. Oh, it's an exciting place, that's for sure. In fact, what I'd really like to do someday is explore the fashion district. There were some, I think I walked by the fashion district, and there were some fabric stores there, garment stores. Anyway, that was my week. Send me pictures and let us know what you're working on. Send them to Lynn at simplycolorful.com, or post them on the Facebook page. After I finish this one, I'll go check and see who's out there. Do you believe we're ending up our 5th year of FiberCast? There's something very soothing about it. And thank you to everyone who tunes in, whether it's live or after the fact. I hope you're doing well and that you're doing something that you're enjoying. I hope there's something that's giving you a spark. We creative souls, we need something to give us a spark. It's just how we're wired. I think this quilt, I can't wait to reveal it next week. I think it really will be good for a children's quilt. There's a W. Or whether they're kindergartners or elementary school kids, I guess, who are learning their alphabet. I think it would be fun. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see who's out there. Excuse me. Oh, Carol. Hello, Carol. It's been so long. Carol's, excuse me, I'm having the hiccups. She titles this Back from My Travels. Carol says, hi, Lynn and all Fibercasters. She says, I am back home after my trip to my daughter in Switzerland and Paris. It had always been a dream to see the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles. My birthday present from my daughter was a 4-day trip to Paris. It surpassed all expectations. Oh, that's wonderful. She says, now to catch up on all the YouTube videos and some stitching I've missed while I was away. Hope everyone is keeping well and enjoying their sewing. Well, Carol, we are. We missed you. I'm so glad you're back. And I'm glad to hear Paris was fun. That's definitely on Bob's and my radar. So glad you're back. And are you going to be doing some of you were starting up a sewing group, if I remember right, where you are. Will you keep doing that? Oh, so many. I get distracted so easily. Sue, this one's titled, I'm Behind. What? Sue, winner of all Dear Jane contests? She says, hi, Lynn and fellow Fibercasters. Another long week for me, she says, but where we left off last week, I had gone to the fabric store to replenish my supplies. Today after work, I cut all the pieces for Clue 5 and paper pieced one before I had to take a nap. That's cute. Here's a sneak peek of the fabric and the one I made. Oh, Sue, I love this. Aren't those pretty colors? So this is going to be her double picket fence. That'll be the double picket and that'll be the background. And she sent us one. Oh, isn't that nice? Love it. That's going to work so well. Ah, whoops, what did I drop here? Well, Sue, I hope you can take some rest this weekend. Work sure does that, doesn't it? It tuckers us out. I was thinking the same thing. I am looking forward to just sleeping tonight and not having an alarm clock. It was early. I had to be at the event. Listen to me. I had to be at the event at 7 on, what was it, Wednesday? And then Thursday morning, I took the train from Boston to New York, which is a great way to travel. And I wanted to get the early train, the 6:55. So I headed out. I was, how many blocks? 12 blocks from where I was at the Hilton to Penn Station in New York. So I just walked straight down 8th Avenue in the dark. I got about halfway there. So it had 5 or 6 blocks. And I realized I'd left my phone in my hotel room. Luckily, I always plan lots of extra time. So I was able to turn around, walk back, go up to the 10th floor, get my phone and my charger, go back down, walk all the way back to Penn Station. I made it in time to get onto the quiet car. And it was a delightful ride home. Anyway, that was like a 5 o'clock wake up. But we all have to do what we have to do, don't we? I hope you've had a good week. I hope wherever you are, you're either enjoying the spring or the fall. Oh, and my heart goes out to those of you down in Hurricane Michael's path, down on the Florida coast where it was a Category 4 hurricane that hit Mexico Beach and Panama City there. Right in the Gulf. I think Tallahassee was hit, so it's upper part of Florida. I'm so sorry. The destruction is just, well, I've said this before, and I was always heard this growing up. Water can be a very powerful thing. Of course, the winds and all that too. So you just go around. You get better at doing this, by the way, because you learn which way your needle's going to go, and then you can plan accordingly. So if at first it's not looking good, don't take it out. Just use it as is. But know that as you go through all 26 letters and you practice, it will get better. Your machine applique will look better. we have a fun family function tomorrow night. It's going to be a surprise for a family member, so I probably shouldn't say anything more. I'll tell you all about it next week. And there we go. There's another one. This is going to be a very satisfying FiberCast. I'm going to get a lot done. Okay. What else is going on? Lots of fall harvests. Already thinking about Thanksgiving, which is just amazing. Oh, and exciting times. Remember I was telling you about my cousin and the derby, the fishing derby? I think it's this Sunday. If anyone's out there and knows the answer to this, is the key ceremony this Sunday when 4 of the finalists get to see if their key, they each get a key, if their key starts the car, or both. I think it's this Sunday, and I think my cousin's still in the running. Ooh, that worked well. See how you can, when you have like a K, you can just take one stitch, lift your machine foot and go make another stitch. So you really do get better at figuring out how many stitches you need. Like this very pointy K, I'm going to turn it part way. I'm going to take one stitch out, and I'm going to turn it again and come back toward the bottom. Is it perfect? No, but it's okay. Same thing, keep it on the outside. Oh, this is fun. There we go. And there's a K. Let's see who's out there. If you have any questions about the mystery quilt, let me know. It's really not, it's not the doozy like the one in 2016 that we did. Do you believe it's been 2 years since that? But it is fun. Oh, Carol Bell, hello. Carol says she's still UFOing. That's the title of her email. She says, hi, Lynn and Fibercasters. She says, I hope you've all had a good week. I'm still working on my unfinished Bonnie Hunter mystery on Ringo Lake. Oh, it's going to be worth it, though. Her quilts are beautiful. She says, although I'm having some trouble with the sashing pieces, it's the flip corners that get me. When I came to look at them, I found that those that were finished, most of them did not reach back to the original corner. So I'm going to be doing on Ringo Puddle. Not on Ringo Lake, on Ringo Puddle. A wall hanging. You're very funny. A wall hanging using 8 of the blocks in the original on-point layout. There's a picture here I'm going to share. The other 42 blocks made should make a lap quilt. So I hope to get 2 quilts for the price of 1. This has nothing to do with getting the shakes at the thought of doing any more flip corner blocks. Yours, Carol, in Yorkshire, England. Oh, that is so funny. Look at that. Oh, now I have to figure out what you mean by the flip blocks. I did not do this one. Okay, so you're putting the sashing on. Let's see if there's a second one. I love the quilt. You have it on top. I remember seeing that one. Well, they're beautiful. So on Ringo Lake has become on Ringo Puddle and then a lap pond. Oh, you made me laugh. I'm so glad you're out there. Pamela Pendleton, thank you for dropping off your quilt today. We will get that done right up. We're working on that Dresden plate. That one is next up. And that's going to be custom. So that will be on the frame for a week. And let's keep going. But I'm going to put it on so that I can get it done before 2 weeks from now, when we are going to machine quilt the alphabet one. Oops. And in fact, if anyone happens to have their top done by the Friday after next, so by the day of the final clue, here I'm gonna make an offer right now. On October 26th, that's clue 8. If you get me your finished top here in the studio at 80 Winter Street in Hopkinton, I will quilt it for free. So if you want to get it in here by then, go for it. We'll use it as an example. And that day, I will also, though, tell you what the cost of doing it will be. It'll be very easy to calculate. It's just 2 cents a square inch, plus $5 for the thread, plus the cost of the batting, which I think will be $15 for this size. That's it. I'm going really slow around the inside of this U. There we go. Remember I was talking about the Great American Read that PBS is doing? Well, I downloaded a picture of Dorian Gray. That's a good book. I'm in, and on a book I'm saying I'm listening to it. So I'm on, what chapter am I on? I'll show it to you. It's by Oscar Wilde.
It's a beautiful soul.
I'm on chapter 4. So take it with a grain of salt. But remember I said I wanted to try reading books or listening to books more? Trying to broaden my mind. So far, so good. I did listen to the Bob Woodward book, Fear. I kind of skipped over that, though. Got a little too detailed for my liking. It was really factual. It wasn't salacious or tabloid-like. So there, 2 books under my belt. I'm going to become a Rhodes Scholar, I tell you. I hope you're laughing. My sister, when we were growing up, she read all the time. Always. right. See how fast you can get at it? There's the C. Oh, this will be fun, the Q. Q, Q, Q. Oh, speaking of which, one of the plays was Avenue Q, which are the puppets. That's a great play that I actually saw here in Boston at the Lyric Stage years ago with my good friend Bruce, Lynn, and his wife. So it was on, I think it was off Broadway. But that was an option. The play Kinky Boots is about a boy who goes off, leaves his father who has a shoe manufacturing company. The boy goes off to find his own way. Not very long after he leaves, his father passes away, so the son has to go back and run the shoe factory. He befriends someone, a transvestite, who happens to need some boots, and the son starts to manufacture boots for that community, and it goes very well, and he makes this wonderful friendship, and I guess it's about how that they get creative and they make a go of it. Thus, Kinky Boots. And I'm sure there are many other subplots and stories, but that's the gist of it. He resurrects the family's shoe business. Okay. Now I'm going to end that, and then I'm going to go inside. So there's the outside of the Q is done. Now, oh, this is going to be a tight one, but we can do it. Oh boy. Going off the rails here a little bit. Ooh. Huh. Maybe that's my cue to stop doing this. That was silly. I went off the middle in two places. And there we go. Okay. And there's our cue. So let's see who's out there. I don't want to miss anyone. And I just want to wish everyone just a great weekend. I hope you're doing something fun. As always, let's see. Oh, Sandra, yay! It's cool in Mississippi. Sandra, how are you? Sandra writes, hi everyone, I'm here just watching. I've been up in the sewing room hunting for my yarn winder because I have some new yarn that has to be wound. Oh, fun. She says, I finally found it, but need the pliers to attach to the work table, and it's too dark to hunt for those. Oh, I hear you, but now you'll be all ready for tomorrow morning. Seems like I'm always hunting something. I know it. I know. Ha, she says, I'm trying to finish my cross-stitch baby bib for my new great-grandson, and it's so slow. Ooh. Well, maybe you could can you give yourself, not that you're asking for any opinions or how to fix it. Gee, I'm acting like a man. You'll figure it out. She says, the quilt top is spread all over the dining room table. I may try to work on it tomorrow. It's finally cooled off here, she says. And Wednesday, it was in the high 80s, and Thursday in the 50s. It's just crazy, she says. Have a great weekend. Sandra in Cool, Mississippi. It really is, isn't it? We have had wacky weather. The climate is changing for sure. That's why this whole use of plastic is really, speaking of climate change, how about this whole notion that we are filling our planet with plastic, that there are oceans of plastic, or it's even getting into the fish that we're eating. It's getting into the water that we're drinking. Not good. So I'm trying very hard to reduce that. In fact, when I run out of the plastic bags for the quilts, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I can justify using that because maybe I'll use recycled ones. Because you just never know through the post office. Some of those packages, they literally get wet and they get through, and I don't want the quilts to get wet. So anyway, but plastic bottles, no more of that. Oh, Carol Bell, she says sashing. Okay, here we go. She says, so Carol's following up. Remember her Ringo Lake, Ringo Puddle? She says, okay, the sashing was made by making 240-degree triangles, I think, of the block below. Oh, 240 of the block below. Oh, I see. So you had to literally make that as your sashing and then put it together. Yikes. I see what you mean. Huh. They're cute, though. They're really pretty. Thank you for sending that. Oh, BJ. Hello. BJ says, happy Friday. Hi, Lynn and fellow Fibercasters. The hubster had to run an errand up the road, and it will take him a few hours to return, so I'm playing hooky from laundry to watch and sew. Yay, me. Oh, yay, you. That's great. She says, I'm taking a break from throw-sized UFOs and finishing up some smaller pieces that will also become Christmas gifts. She says, photo attached. I must have a dozen of these that you'd think I could start and finish in the same weekend, right? She says, I'm so easily distracted. LOL. Oh, that's funny. She says, the mystery quilt is really coming along. Can't wait to see the reveal. Have a great weekend. Oh, and these are lovely. Look at this. Oh, BJ, those are great. You must feel so good getting them done. It's great. I'm glad you're there. And I'm glad your hubster's home and not traveling and off doing his science and his work, his business work. I'm glad he's home. It must be very pretty in Yellowstone this time of year. Okay. I'm going to do one more of these, and then I think we might be up to 60 minutes. Almost. Maybe I'll do a couple. We still have time. The T is pretty easy. No curved lines. Go. Here's the T. Oh, the V. How can we not do the V? V for victory. So when I started writing the clues, I thought of that typing saying that they used to make us type, the brown lazy fox jumped over the lazy log. No, the log can't be lazy. Jumped over the crazy log. Anyway, I did look online and there were some repeats, so I couldn't do that whole saying, and I thought that might throw you off. I thought at least the first clue when I wrote simply that you might think, what is she doing? And why would I ever want a quilt that said simply colorful if that's where I was going? But voila, we're doing the alphabet. And you know, now that you have the pattern, this could be adapted in so many ways. You could applique or embroider objects for each letter. You could do, the sky is the limit. See, I'm here at the edge. All right. So I mentioned next week's the reveal. Then the next week, the week after that, we're doing the machine quilting. So I'll set up the computer or the camera somewhere so that you can hopefully see most of it. And it will be another grand experiment. And then we are open to doing something different. I really would like to do something three-dimensional, maybe a doll again. Go. Round and round the team we go. This one has two pieces. Oh, I know what else. I want to put in a plug for the Missouri Star Quilt Company retreat, January 21st. We'd love to have you there. Becky from the studio on the hill is going. She's going to meet one of her friends from her doctorate program out there. So the two of them are going to meet us there. So now we're up to, let's see, Becca, Gail, Karen, Alexa, Katie, Lynn, Becky, her friend, I think Maria might be her friend's name. So that's 8, right? Gee. It's a good thing I'm making an alphabet quilt. I won't know my alphabet before too long. If I'm quilt. Oh, we'll have to make a number quilt. Okay, D. Oh, look at this. We have F-O-X. I never did do those. Huh. Well, I think I can do those tomorrow morning with a fresh head. I want to thank everyone for joining me. You are my friends. I can't believe we keep doing this on Friday night. We do it because we get something out of it. And I know I get a relief from the rest of the week. I appreciate you being out there and your friendship. And you keep me going in my creative endeavors, and I hope that you also are feeling like you're getting some things done. So keep on being creative, keep on enjoying life, do what you like to do, and I will see you back here next Friday night for the reveal. Bye, everyone.